What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cowboys Culture Podcast. And today is a little bit of a sad day. You know, it's not a victory Monday like it has been these last 2 weeks. We're coming at you guys on Monday right after the loss to the Cardinals. But before we get into some of the stuff that we're pretty heated about, Jacob, or I guess Steven, tell us about our sponsor.
Oh, yeah. So what's still great about today is that 360 Roofing and Restoration are still servicing the DFW Metroplex, and they're the number one roofing company in said metro. So residential, commercial, they do it all. So thanks again, 360 Roofing and Restoration, for keeping us going up here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't think we have any news other than the fact that, Cowboys lost to the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday night, or Sunday at 3:30 or whatever. Man, it was a tough watch. I got to say I was wrong about what was going to happen in that game. I said we were going to beat them 50-0 or something like that, or something crazy, 30-0, 40-0, something like that. And that just wasn't the case. We can all get into what we thought about the game, but I kind of just thought we came into the game just unprepared. It felt like we didn't play our O-linemen, and we didn't try it for the first, it seemed like, quarter, because we thought we were going to win, genuinely thought we were going to win. And, man, I think the only thing that's great is that we got out of there with no injuries, in my opinion.
Yeah. This podcast is a little different than other podcasts you guys may watch, Cowboys fans out there. We're, we dive in once a week and give you guys as solid of an episode as possible. I think some of the content creators out there that are just throwing up videos over and over, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm a huge fan of most of those guys, especially Cowboys-centric pods and content creators. We get a lot of knee-jerk reactions after games like this. When people are still very hot and emotional, and I think I'm like everybody else. I run to those podcasts and those content creators like immediately after games, and they can do one of two things. They can either calm me down, or they can fire me up more. And I got a little mixture of that, Sunday night after our game. But so that being said, I was reminded to stay positive about a few things. And I think two of those positives are the performance of Dak Prescott, who was under duress all day and who had nowhere to go with the football all day long, and still found a way to keep us around. I know, unfortunately, the last throw of Dak's game, we wish could have gone differently, and it was the final backbreaker. However, I feel like this game was won by Arizona during that 40-some-odd yard defensive blunder by us. But anyway, trying to score there at the end of the fourth quarter, trying to hang around. Once again, Dak had nowhere to go, and the day had finally caught up with him, and he finally threw that inevitable pick. Don't blame him. You got to do something with it. Nobody's open. It's for the game. So he found a white shirt and threw it that direction. Yeah. I was going to also say, just trying to focus on the positives early on in this episode. Tony Pollard is him.
Yeah. 100%.
There's not a healthy Tony Pollard. Give me him all day long over. There may be two guys who I'd say, fine, I'll take him over Tony Pollard. And then there's some days where I'm like, and yesterday was one of those days where it was like, nope, Tony Pollard is the only thing going today, and he's.
I think I just wanted to say really quick, I think you're completely right. I think Dak he put the ball pretty much perfectly where it needed to be. Perfect placement. When Gallup got that pass interference play called, that ball was right where it needed to be.
Yeah.
That when CeeDee Lamb got that call where he was in the end zone looking for a flag, which he honestly should have just caught the ball. The ball was right there. I mean, after it kind of skimmed past the guy's head to hit him right in the chest or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you've got to make those plays. In my opinion, I think that Dak was playing extraordinary. Obviously, Pollard had 120 yards or something like that?
Dak was doing everything you could do.
Pollard was 5.3 average, 23 carries to 122 yards. I mean, that's extraordinary. Yeah, extraordinary.
That is.
And the only you can say what you cannot say that Dak played a bad game or that Pollard was bad or that CD was bad or that Jake Ferguson was incredible.
Yeah, he's great.
So much yak, so much effort put in there. The only thing the two things for me, the only thing that's wrong with our offense, just to talk about our offense really quick, the only thing that I saw that was wrong with our offense was that once we got in that 20-yard line or 15-yard line,
the red zone, as it were,
it was like we were dotting them up, running all over them, and then for some reason, right when we get in that red zone, man, it just goes straight out the window.
Yeah,
and I don't understand that.
That's been an issue since kickoff, right? Since New York Giants.
Yeah.
It's been an issue since we started. So, being that we're 3 weeks in and we still haven't figured out how to score in the red zone often, we get there often. We get there almost every offensive drive Dallas has had this year has ended in the red zone.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say, we talk so much about what this offense was going to look like coming into this year, coming out of training camp, and getting really excited about what we thought was going to be this perfect balance, Texas coast, moving guys around, getting guys in space, and all that. And we do that. We do that. We do great at that. Where I get confused and where Mike McCarthy is going to have to shoulder a lot of blame because he wants to call his own plays. He's been extremely successful with that in his career. Where he's going to have to shoulder some of this blame is he can't call a play down there that scores. He's had, in my opinion, Dak has created the scores down there this year. All right, I don't think he's been handed a play to this point that I can look back on. And if I'm wrong about this, come at me, smash me in the head.
Well, I mean, even Mike himself pretty much took blame for the game, and he was like, "Yeah, I got to be better." He admitted like those red zone calls, those red zone play calls, have to be different. Now, obviously, he did mention, based off the way they were playing defense, he felt like he had to do more run style and short stuff. But still,
That's
I mean,
not an
he still it was not giving us an opportunity to really, in my opinion, for Dak to do anything. And some of my takeaways for the game was, going off of what you guys were saying. First off, I want to give a highlight or a play or some props. It was Tyler Smith in his first game back.
Yeah.
Go watch the film. That dude was, gosh.
Everybody was a disaster around him. But
yeah, everybody around him was playing horrible. That dude was just moving people out of the screen. But anyways, some of my takeaways, I'm on the same page when it comes to, I don't think we should overreact from a standpoint of, oh yeah, look, the Cowboys are trash. No, we lost a core pillar of our defense this week with 3 days before the game. Dan Quinn's going to have to scramble with moving guys in different positions to try to make up for that, right? So obviously we should expect on defense to have a little bit of adjustment period, right? On offense, so I wasn't super surprised by that. I was surprised at obviously how quickly and easily they moved the ball down the field, but I wasn't expecting this to be we shut them. After Trayvon went down, we keep him to 6 or something like that, because I'm expecting there to be a couple issues. The defense was bad at the beginning of the game, but we've talked about Dan Quinn, like he always does. We were getting destroyed on our defense was getting destroyed in the first half. In the second half, they got one scoring drive compared to every drive was a scoring drive in the first half, right? So I think our defense definitely showed in this game that we are going to miss Trayvon Diggs.
Clearly.
Clearly. Anybody who thought it was just going to be fine, we were still going to be whatever, there's no way you can say that, a defense that held two teams to 10 points total and now gives up 28 in the very next game without Trayvon. I get it was a bad game, but still, I mean, it's no coincidence in my opinion. There is going to be a drop-off on defense, but I don't want to overreact and think that, everybody's talking about how trash we are. No, we're still going to have, it, in my opinion, probably a top 10 to top 5 defense even without Diggs. But overall in the defense, we saw that even though we started off bad, the good thing was Dan Quinn was able to adjust like he always does. Now, the negative side of things were on the offense, in my opinion. And honestly, mostly Mike. Because the things that were horrible in this game were penalties, which comes from the top.
Pre-snap penalties.
That comes from the top.
That offensive line played like absolute
and
garbage.
I get it. The majority of those dudes aren't even going to be on the field next week probably.
Yeah.
But still, that comes from the top. That's discipline. We had a lot of defensive penalties too. So penalties, red zone, which we obviously talked about. The play calling in the red zone was atrocious. And game management was, I don't know, in the second half, I don't know how much worse you could have managed that game, honestly.
We couldn't scheme guys open. We were making some confusing calls. We can go on and on about that fourth down call instead of taking the points. It kind of ended up not mattering, but and you talk to the right person, they'll tell you it does matter. Anyway, it was bad management and passed down to the field for bad performance. The offensive line played like absolute garbage on fire. And then
I thought Dak was going to get – it was just inevitable Dak was going to get hurt because of how –
and this turned into the Cowboys' identity is defensive line, rallying to the football defensively, and the offensive job is to go out there, score points, and not screw it up for the defense, right? So yesterday, defense decides they're going to come out play like crap. The quarterback and the running back are not getting any help offensively, so it becomes this balancing act between Dak and Tony, and they did their part. But it's gonna take much better play calling than what we saw yesterday. It's gonna take much better.
It's not like we haven't seen it though. We saw some incredible play calling from Mike during the Jets game.
I agree.
During the Jets game, at least until we got to the red zone, you saw some incredible play calling.
That's right. Scheming CD open left and right. I mean, I had 11 catches in the Jets game. He had 4 yesterday. But I'll say this, like the red zone thing, after 3 weeks of it,
you would expect something.
There is a clear problem. It can't be corrected.
Well, it can't. That's the only thing that I'd come away with this game thinking is
that's a concern.
That's the only concern that I saw that is long lasting from this game. The run defense, like we've seen it against Saquon. I mean, and Daniel Jones, they at least tried to run on us. The Jets didn't really try to run because I don't know what their scheme was there to try and pass heavy on a team when Trayvon was there, especially. I'm not on the same train as Jacob. I don't think that we're not still the best defense in the league without Trayvon. I still think we are because we have the best secondary in the league along with the best D-line in the league. So even without Trayvon, so I don't think the sky is falling. This game specifically, I'm not going to be like, obviously, Jake, when it's depressing sometimes when I talk to Jacob because he's like, the sky is falling, we suck now, we're terrible.
No, I've never.
No, I know you don't say that. I'm just saying, like, you make it seem that way, especially when Trayvon went down. I know that we still have a top-tier defense. The only thing that I saw from the game that stuck out to me was that red zone offense, and that's really it. Like, it's been 3 weeks now. We need to kind of get that together. The Jets, we played an overall really, really good game, but we saw it really bad against the Giants, and then we saw it insanely terrible in this game. If we score those touchdowns, not only does it not take the momentum away from them to score, it puts fire back in the belly of our defense to go and stop them so we can get the ball back. It also, I mean, we left 21 points on the table.
Yeah. So I think,
-6, because if you include the field goals, but
as much as we want to say like this game was a blunder, don't worry, we're still great. And we are. I still believe we're one of the top 2 defenses in the NFC. If you want to say we're number 2 after a game like this, and we need to prove that we're number 1 again, fine. Okay, that's fine. Exactly. That's okay with me. But the red zone situation for me and the penalties is a plague that's followed us around this year. And it caught up with us in a game where we played extremely lackadaisical. We called plays extremely lackadaisical. The performance was very, very second tier to what we've seen. And I think the fact that those problems persist week in and week out at this point that makes me say, okay, we have a real situation on our hands. This offense, for whatever reason, when it gets inside those 20s, when it gets inside that 10, it struggles to get something put together. And yesterday, quite frankly, to me, it looked like Mike had run out of ideas and just kept giving it to Tony and saying, fingers crossed this works.
That's the thing. Because, just to reiterate, by no means do I think sky's falling. We're not a Super Bowl contender. I 100% think
yes,
we're
you do, Jacob. You think we're done.
I 100% think we're a Super Bowl contender, one of the best, if not the best teams in the league, even still after this game. I'm not overreacting like everybody else is and saying those types of things like we're trash and Dak sucks and all that. Do I think Dak played great? No, but I don't think he played bad.
You are quick to acknowledge and respect Trayvon.
All I'm saying is, and this is just a fact, as much as it hurts me to say this, Diggs was a core member of the defense. You're going to have a drop-off. But anyways.
You were more right about that than most people I talked to.
I just knew that you can't stack the box anymore in the run game. You can't, and play as much. We played 80% man coverage when Trayvon is there.
Yeah.
You just can't do that anymore. But anyways,
we were spread out Sunday, and we ended up paying for it in the end.
Yeah. But I think overall, my take from this is, or even after this game, is we're still a Super Bowl contender. We're still one of the best, if not the best teams in the league, I think for sure. I think we're still probably, even without Trayvon, the most stacked roster. I think that our defense will be fine. We saw even at the end of the game, Dan Quinn adjusted, and we were fine. If we played the Cardinals again today, we would win, in my opinion. That was just a bad game for us overall. And so I'm not sky's falling. I think we're fine. What I am saying, though, is that this game highlighted a concern to me, which is obviously we're talking about the red zone play calling, but the bigger thing was, it seems to me, because what we're talking about is we were able to move the ball. It was just in the red zone that we couldn't, right? If we remember with Kellen Moore,
ran it at will until we got down there.
If we remember Kellen Moore, it was we would have those games where we couldn't buy a first down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We have not seen that with Mike so far.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen a different problem. We have no problem getting guys open and getting down the field. But and having good, long, consistent, mistake-free drives and getting into that red zone, right? But when we get there, number one, we can't score really. But also, one thing that is concerning to me, and I'm in the concern phase. I'm not in the worry phase.
Yeah,
I'm in the concern.
I'm in the game. One game.
The concern I have is that all we can do? Is that what we saw in the first two games, which was we can take a 10-minute drive all the way down the field, right?
Yeah.
And game manage our way down there and be
whole
because
game,
because like what you were saying, when we got in the position where we're down by double digits and we need to score quickly, we did this. We were playing offense like we were up 20 points.
Yeah,
like we were in the Jets.
Giving it to Tony and saying, please score from 10 yards out.
And so the only thing I'm worried about is Mike, is that all we have right now?
Right.
Are we a team that, like, unless our defense shuts you down, our offense is only going to do game management style stuff? And so if our defense gives up, if we have a bad game and our defense gives up a lot of points, we're screwed? I don't know.
Who does Dak look for when we get down there on passing downs? He's looking for big 87.
Yeah,
for sure. And he gets covered up, man. I mean, anytime Ferg scores, he's diving for the end zone or whatever. Like he's covered up. So like, they know he's hunting for him. They know that our offense requires him to be a very active member of the receiving game. You're not going to let CD run around out there, So I do believe he, towards the end of that game, I think he ran out of ideas. To be perfectly frank, I think I think we were outcoached, and I don't think we should have been, and I don't think we will be very much. But I think in that game, we were out-schemed and outcoached. And I think Mike McCarthy would be the first one to look everyone in the eye and say, "You're absolutely right, Stephen," and we're going to fix that. However, I will say this about Mike. Something I love about Mike and his play calling, and this is more of a theory than anything, but when we get in those third and long situations, it almost seems like it's clockwork that one of two things is going to happen. Dak's going to hit somebody for a first down, or we're going to get a PI call where – you remember those Kellen plays where he would want to throw underneath on a third and long situation? He's letting everybody cover deep, and he wants to throw underneath and see if he can get that open guy.
If we got a first and 20, drive was over.
Exactly. So
this game, we get a first and 20, and it's by second down, we're getting a first down.
And it worked over and over yesterday, and it's worked a lot this year. And again, it's a theory, but I think Mike McCarthy exploits the spot foul rule of pass interference,
and
which
is, it's just smart.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, the best thing that can happen is one of my superstars goes down here and catches the ball. The worst thing that can happen is he's going to get grabbed, and we're going to get a flag, and we're going to move this drive down the road.
Yeah, I think genuinely, obviously the red zone offense is annoying to have to see over and over again, but I think that I'm not going to say the only reason that we didn't win this game is because of they just came out and beat us. I think that we just genuinely did not show up to play.
Yeah,
and they are pissed off about what the Giants did to them last time.
Sure, but I'm not going to take anything away from Arizona. We have no excuses. We can talk about our offensive line was injured. We can talk about the pre-snap penalties. We can talk about lackadaisical defense. We can talk about red zone. No excuses. We proclaimed that we're the best team in the NFL. That's one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're not going to win many games this year. We should have came out and stomped them, and we showed up to that game like we didn't give a darn. So
I guess my point is to say that we aren't screwed. We're not going under. We're not going to just start. We're not going to be a 9-8 team. When we play the Niners, we're probably going to win. We're going to sweep the Eagles. We're going to win our division. We're going to be fine. We're going to sweep our whole division.
I believe that.
What the difference is that this game we genuinely did what people were saying that we should not do when we come to Arizona, and that is this: you should not show up and just say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win." So let's. And you would think what I thought was, there's no way that there's no way like they're at the Star getting ready for this game, or in Arizona getting ready for this game. Like, this is pretty much like a bye week. But to me, it felt like, even if they wasn't their intentions, to me it felt like resting Zach Martin, resting Tyler Biadasz, not playing Tyron Smith when he suited up on the sideline. That was especially at the beginning in the first quarter. That was a way of telling me that you are not taking this game serious. Because if the Niners if we're going to play the Niners this week, we're doing everything we can to have Zach Martin back, to have Tyler Biadasz ready to go, to have Tyron Smith out there. Like, we are doing everything we can. And that did not feel like the case. And another thing I wanted to say was we didn't have something to fight for in this game. You know what I'm saying? Like, this felt like a throwaway game.
Yeah.
So not only did it feel like a didn't matter game.
If you don't want to call it a trap game, you can call it a throwaway game.
But I'm saying to us, it felt like a game that didn't matter because it's.
I think if you're going to throw it away, then go out there and show out. That's my opinion. If you're going to throw it away, go out there and just smash them.
But that's why I'm frustrated, because what I'm saying is you look at that team and you're like, what we've done already compared to them, we're going to destroy them.
Yeah, you have very few chances to have fun in this league, so go out there and have fun.
Yeah, so you come out flat-footed and lazy and everything, but then it's kind of like in the Giants, that's a divisional rival. Okay, so even if they sucked as bad as the Cardinals did, we're going to stomp them because they suck, and they're a divisional rival, right? The Jets game, though, no Aaron Rodgers, but that game's been hyped up for eons, right? And then people start saying, oh, they have a really good defense and Dak's going to throw picks and they're going to lock down CD.
Okay, so we're getting up for that. And then they tell us, you guys are just going to smash the crap out of Arizona. I'm sorry. We got to send you out there.
We're already looking past the Cardinals and Patriots game for the Niners game.
Well, let's look past the Cardinals because we've said everything we can say about that, right? Game we should have won, game we dropped. Not a big deal. We're going to move on. So this one right here has some hype to it too that actually kind of grew beyond maybe 6 weeks ago you didn't think much of it. The addition of Ezekiel Elliott, who's a big name in Dallas-Fort Worth, obviously Cowboy for a long time, is on that team, going to be welcomed back with open arms come Sunday down at the Death Star. So jump right into that when the Patriots are not playing bad. The quarterback's not playing bad. The defense is really good. I mean, Belichick is going to have a good defense.
Yeah.
So just jump into that. What are your thoughts?
I guess I'll go first and then.
Sure.
I guess to me, I'll just say, if we were going to come back and really give it to somebody, this is a good test. They have a good defense.
Yeah.
They just beat the Jets pretty handedly yesterday. Mac Jones is not Zach Wilson. He's not Daniel Jones. He's around that Daniel Jones level of talent, but we've underestimated people in the past, and look where that got us. I think that it's a game where it's going to be it will be that test, that final test before we actually play somebody that we absolutely have to beat, testing out our red zone offense against their defense, where Belichick can shut you down on offense, and our defense needs to come back and show their offense that what they really are. The Patriots offense isn't that great. Mac Jones is not that great.
Right.
Our defense needs to come back and be dominant and just destroy them and show everybody that, hey, this was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
We're still that team that you saw us in week 1 and week 2.
I just I'll just say that I just couldn't agree more with that assessment of how we need to treat this game. We need to treat it like we're going out there playing the greatest team in the world, and we need to win it because we do. We need to settle everybody back down. We need to remind the players that, hey, you are great. You're missing a guy, and I think the Trayvon thing going into that game too, into the Arizona game, I think that was heavy on their hearts, and you could choose how you wanted to respond to that, right? You could respond to it out of anger and go out there, and play angry, or you can say, man, my brother's not out here, and I think a lot of especially on defense, I think a lot of people were just were down on that. But again, no excuses. This is the NFL. Go smash heads. But I'm with you, and I think we will win this game. I think the Patriots,
they hang in there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's real tough to just smash Bill Belichick.
They hung in there with the Eagles. They made that a close one.
I have plenty. We're way better than them, but whatever.
Yeah.
I have a ton of respect for Belichick. I have a ton of respect for Mac Jones. I think he's fine. I think he's going to be a quarterback in the NFL for a long time, and
he's a competitor for sure.
Yeah, I really believe that. I mean, he can go from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick.
I'll say if we leave a wide open gap open like we did like this past game, like once or twice, he can definitely get the ball there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I love that the offensive line should be healthy in this game. They may all actually play together, the starters.
Finally.
So
it's a good game to do it.
Yeah,
man.
It is. So, they're going to run the ball. They're going to try. Yeah, they're going to try and throw that bowling ball number 21 at us. I think he's number 15, right?
Yep.
So, I think we win this game. I think we're going to play angry in this game like we should have done last week. But I think you're probably looking at something like You're probably looking at something like maybe we go 28-21 with them. We kind of win it in the end type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's if the red zone problems are fixed. You have to score some touchdowns in this game.
I'll say if the red zone problems get fixed, I say we beat them a little bit more handedly. Because the problem has not been Dak's going down the field.
No.
Dak will get you from 20 to 20.
Yeah, but you're going to have to give him a play when he gets down there.
Yeah,
because it's difficult to create in a short field.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If we come in and we're like, okay, this week of practice, we watch the film, we get everything squared away, and we just come back with a mindset of, hey, this is the only issue that we're dealing with as far as offense goes. Pollard's great. CD has been incredible. Cooks has been applicable when he's played these, Giants game and this game.
Yeah.
Gallup had 90 yards or something this past game. They're all solid receivers. We have a great offense. It's for some reason that it's not that anybody sucks. It's that for some reason once we get in that red zone defense or red zone offense, I don't know why I keep saying defense. Once we get in that zone, we can't get it clicking.
Yeah, well,
McCarthy.
Sunday there were people out there playing offense for the Cowboys that did suck.
Yeah, 100%
on the offensive line, but and they're not good.
3 of them.
They're not good football players. I'm so sorry to say that. I know that that's terrible to say about somebody, but they're not good. Our money is spent elsewhere, and it's spent on those starters, but
not as good as you'd like.
They are not as good as you'd like. What you'd appreciate is if they were better, but so they're not good, and I think this is a bounce back game, but I think this is also a really good team we're playing. I'm going to respect them, and I'm going to say 31-21, 28. Let's just say I'm saying 28-21. All respect to Belichick.
I do think they get around that 20 mark.
If you can hold a team to 21, which we clearly can because we can hold teams to 0, but if you can hold a team under, say, 24, we're a good enough offense to be able to win.
Well, see, from my perspective, and I'll get into my picks, I guess, score predictions, but I think that
we are aware that we're not videoing. So if anyone hung in there, thank you very much for that, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that this game couldn't be a better opportunity at this point because it's not like a 49ers or an Eagles, something like that. It's a really good it's not like one of those super emotional, hyped up games, but it is a team, it is a solid team that's a good they're still quality, they're still strong on defense, they still can beat you if you're not ready, but they're not like you're not coming off a loss and then having to play like a Super Bowl contender, right after that. But it's like it's a good enough team to where it's like it's respectable and you have to be on your game. You know what I mean? And so I think this is going to be a great opportunity for us to see like those questions that we had from this past week. What is Mike going to do? Is he going to be? Is he capable? We already saw that Dan Quinn can make adjustments. But here, I think is such a good opportunity to see Mike against a really good defensive coach. Can you, with a superior team, figure out how to put something together to get some touchdowns when you get in the red zone and not get shut down by this type of guy, by this type of a coach, with this average to decent team? Can you overcome this challenge, Mike? And so I think it's a great opportunity for our offense. I expect our defense to have a good day against them. I think that against young pocket passing type quarterbacks, Dan Quinn does a really good job at getting pressure, and he can really just have the guys pin their ears back. So I expect Daniel Jones to have a hard day, and I think it'll be probably lower scoring from them unless we have some random breakdowns like we did versus the Cardinals. I expect them to have a struggle to score. I expect us to have a decent struggle to score. I think it'll be overall a lower scoring game just because out of respect for Bill Belichick. But this is such an opportunity for the offense. I think it'll be probably we get like 21-24. They're maybe at 10-13-ish. I do think we'll win because here's one thing we do know. We've lost some bad games under Mike, but we very rarely go back-to-back L's.
Yeah, for sure.
We might drop an L one time, and it's just, man, what was that? But then typically, like, remember when we lost to Green Bay, and then what happened to the Vikings next week?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, we very rarely get into situations where we lose 2 in a row with Mike. This is a must-win game, and typically he's able to rally the troops in these types of situations. So I'm encouraged going into this next week, and I'm glad it's a tough team because it's a good opportunity for them. And man, but I will say though, if we lose 2 in a row, I'm gonna be teetering on that worried side of things because you can't lose 2. You cannot lose 2 games in a row with this roster.
It will definitely be brought back down to earth if we lose 2 in a row, right? I mean, we're definitely going to let's back off the best team in the NFL talk, all right?
Yeah.
But what I will say though is I would feel the sky still isn't falling if we go out there and play a good Patriots team and it's a back and forth deal and it doesn't feel like you're getting your butt kicked all day. It's kind of if you lose, it's how you lose type thing for me. If it's a red zone blunder, if it's a bunch of flags, if it's basically a carbon copy of last week, the sky's getting heavier. Okay,
Yeah.
So but yeah, I think you're going. This is the NFL. That's the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. I don't care. If it's Tom Brady or whoever, it's still one of the greatest football minds of all time with a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And a good young quarterback. I mean, and a Bill Belichick defense. Look, you go out there and you drop one to him. I don't think you should, and definitely don't think you should at home. But if you go out there and you get beat on a field goal with 2 seconds left, okay, there's plenty to build off there. Yes, and the media around here in Dallas will tell you everything's terrible and Dak Prescott plays like a grandpa. But if you look inside of that and you say, man, that was a hard fought game. The defense kept us in it. The offense found a way to score in the red zone. It's just, man, the clock ticked and they had the ball last.
Yeah.
I won't lose my mind if it's one of those types of games.
You can't be in that. You can't.
I just look
after a game like this as a coach. You cannot with this team. If you are a Super Bowl contender, you can't be in. I don't care who you're playing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if it's the Niners. If you want to be a Super Bowl contender with this team, and I think we are, you can't drop an egg like we did last night. Yeah, and then come back against a team like Bill, as good as he is. You have to show that when we want to win, we're ready to win, we will win. I don't care who you are.
And not come back for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah,
and not
you got to go on a tear
extraordinarily hungry
because you already lost. You have the Eagles in your division
because we could be undefeated. The thought of not being undefeated at week 3 after losing to the Cardinals specifically, that makes me angry.
Yeah,
because you dropped that game, you have to win. You can't afford to drop another game that's not like if you lost to the 49ers or somebody like that, that's like or Miami, somebody who's a top tier team right now, that's one thing. You can't lose to another average or slightly, kind of in that middle of the road teams anymore because of what you just did at Arizona. Considering the fact that we already know you have the Eagles in your division, and we already know somehow they are the luckiest team in the league and will somehow win a game as bad as they want to play all 4 quarters. They'll somehow win. So you can't keep giving up L's like that if you want to win the division.
Yeah, no. So which next week isn't going to count against us in the division as long as we do like we all claimed we were and sweep the division.
Yeah.
But we're playing an AFC team, playing a great coach. I think all I'm saying is if there is an extremely positive response. If there's the opposite game that happened,
but we just lose or whatever.
And look, we just, much like that Saints-Green Bay game this past week, they just had the ball last. Now the Saints did miss the field goal, but, had that gone through, had the Saints won, it's just like, man, the Packers battled back. They're clearly a good team. That quarterback's clearly good. Saints just had the ball last. However, they did miss and they did lose. But my point is just we need a just 360 Shout out 360. 360 response from Arizona.
So to you,
and I don't want to lose, but I know we will lose games this year.
So it's to you, it's more about how we play versus whether it's a win or a loss.
I think when you play that bad in all three phases of the game and you're absolute garbage, I think you need to show the world that's not who we are.
Yeah.
That's how we played.
It's fair.
And
I still think we need to win.
I haven't understood. Yeah, as fans, listen, we need to win, right? The ultimate goal here, as much as we don't want to agree with it, the ultimate goal is to get into that end of the year tournament.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it, get in. All right. Now, if you are one of these teams at the end, which we should be, we're all hoping we are. But if you're one of these teams that can position yourself in a better position in that tournament, great. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yes, but right now it is about collecting wins, absolutely, and it's about collecting it against whoever will give you one. Not that anybody gives you one, clearly, But
you got to win the easy ones, and that's why I was frustrated.
But I don't think we have an easy game Sunday. We don't.
Yeah, but you can't. But it's definitely relative to some of the games that you're going to play. It's probably kind of in the middle, I would say, because of the fact that because of their play style, they have that. The teams that give us the trouble are going to be those mobile quarterbacks, which we're going to face a lot. And I think this is a team, as good as they will be on defense, that we should be a good matchup for. And I just think that, you go back last year, those couple of games that we lost, that we had the lead and we should have won, in my opinion, that was the difference between us being in the number one seed and not. And I truly think if we swapped with the Eagles and we were the number one seed, I genuinely think we would have been in the Super Bowl. And so I think that these games like this matter. And so I am with you. Ultimately, it matters more how we play. But I think because of the loss last week, I think this is a must-win in terms of seeding.
I agree.
Fair enough. All right.
Stack wins.
Yeah. So let's just go win it. So So let's. I guess we can wrap it up here. Sorry about the video malfunction for this one. Hopefully we still provided some good audio content, and we'll get better.
Yeah. Make sure you guys are continuing to like and comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at cowboysculturepodcast. And let us know what you guys thought about the podcast. We'll be posting some stuff. We just did a giveaway that we gave to somebody. It was a little helmet thing. We're going to have another giveaway coming up. So we live for the engagement. So we want to see you guys comment and show us some.
Let us know if you're freaking out or if you're feeling good still.
Yeah, let us know. But that's it. We'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.